Hello, my name is Shailendra Chaudhary, and in this video I'll show how to continuously deploy Azure App Services using the YAML pipeline, where I'll use the self-hosted agent instead of Microsoft hosted agent. So let's start. So this is the app service Shailendra web app, where I'll be continuously deploying using the YAML pipeline. This app service was created in the previous video. You can find the link in the description section of this video. If you click on the URL, right now it's deployed with the sample web page, the basic index.html file. So what we'll do is we'll download a template and upload it in GitHub, and in using a continuous deployment through a YAML pipeline, we'll deploy those web pages into our app services. So I have created a GitHub repo with the name demo web app, where I have uploaded the file. We'll use this GitHub repo to keep our source files, and whenever we'll make changes to this GitHub repo, there should be a continuous deployment into our app services. So let's open the Azure DevOps now. So this is the Azure DevOps. I'll create a new project for this. YouTube app service. And let's make it private. So now a new project is created, and we want our project to have access to GitHub repo as well as our subscription where our app services is running. So let's provide some service connections. When we'll go to the project settings, there is an option of service connection. Let's create few service connections. Let's create a new connection. For Azure subscription, I'll choose the Azure Resource Manager, and we'll select the automatic service principal. We'll just provide the name, we'll log in into our Azure subscription, and service principal will be created. So now I have logged in into my subscription. I'll provide the name of the service connection. And I'll provide this access to all the pipelines. It's setting up the connection, as you can see here. This will take few seconds, and now our service connection is created. So that's good. Let's create another service connection for GitHub. Select the GitHub, next. Azure Pipelines. Yeah, because I have already logged in into the browser with my GitHub, so it has picked it up. GitHub _lab demo and save. Now both the connections are created. So now what Azure DevOps has to do is pick up the files from GitHub and then upload those files to the Azure App Service so that continuous deployment can happen. So whenever we'll make the change into the GitHub repo, those changes will be reflected in the Azure App Service website. Now before proceeding further, there is one thing which I would like to show. If you go to the organization settings and go to the parallel jobs, as you can see here, the Microsoft hosted it showing as one parallel job up to 1800 minutes per month. However, by default, it's always set as 0. So whether you're running a private project or public project, Microsoft hosted agents can't be run directly. While in the case of the self-hosted, you can run one job in both the private and the public project. So now to enable this feature, you have to fill one form. I'll quickly show that. If you'll go to the Azure documentation, there's an option to configure and pay for the parallel jobs. However, if you'll scroll down and go to Microsoft hosted, you can get free access for public and private projects for one parallel job. But you have to raise a request, which usually takes 24 hours. So this is the form you have to fill. But in this video, I'll be explaining how to create a self-hosted agent and then run the YAML pipeline using it. So to create a self-hosted agent, go to our project, go to the project setting, agent pool, and create a new pool. It's a self-hosted type. The name will be node pool. You can give any name. I'm just selecting as a node pool. It'll grant permissions to all the pipelines and create. Now in the node pool, we have to create a new agent. There are multiple options. You can create Windows, Mac, Linux. You can even use your own computer, but I'll create a new virtual machine for that. So let me log into the portal. I'll create a new virtual machine. I'll use the Ubuntu virtual machine, Linux virtual machine, and configure it to run as an agent. Let's go to the virtual machines. Create a virtual machine. Create a new resource group, agent pool RG. Agent node 001. I'll choose Australia East and Ubuntu generation 1. This size is enough. I'll provide the public IP to this virtual machine because I want to log into this machine and set up an agent on it. I'll not select any data test for this. And right now I don't have any virtual network, so it will create a virtual network for me. And this information is good enough. It will create a 24 CIDR range. It will create a new public IP. Yep, everything looks good. We don't want any advanced settings, and click and create. Virtual machine is created. Now let's go to the resource. We have a virtual machine with a public IP. So let's log into this virtual machine. That's good. I can log in now. Azure user. I'll increase the font now. Yep, should be good enough. And now let's go back to our agent pool where there is an option given. So let me create this folder. I'm into my agents. Copy this, wget the file, and it will download the agent file. It's downloaded. Now it will unzip it. Good, it's unzipped now, and we'll configure it using this command. Yes. Enter the server URL. I'll open another tab. And this is the URL of our organization. Let's suppose we'll use the personal access token. Let me create the personal access token now. I'll create a new token, provide access, full access for 30 days. Token is added now. Enter agent pool. So if we are using the default pool, then we have to just press enter. However, in this case, we are using the node pool. Yes, this is the agent which we have created. So let me select it. This is the work folder which we created. So if we'll go to our agent pools now and refresh the screen, an agent is created now, but it's showing as offline, which means we have to run this agent. So if we follow this command again, run it using the shell script, and if we'll go back to your agents, you can see it's online now. The only problem is it should always be running here. So now what we'll do is we'll create a service where it will be running in the background, because if we'll just cancel it, it will become offline. So there is another option to run it as a service. There is already a shell script available. So if we'll run sudo svc-sh install and the name of the user. So this has installed the service. Now what we have to do is just start it. And it's showing as running. We'll go to our agent now and you can see it's online now. So that means now you can use your agent to run the pipeline. So our next step now is to go to the pipeline and create a new pipeline. So our code is lying in the GitHub. So we'll select the GitHub. It has found the repository because already we have a service connection available. So let me select the demo web app. This is the repository already selected, because right now in my GitHub account, there is only one repo. So it has selected it. So approve and install. So now authorization is happening. I'll start with the basic starter pipeline so that I can show how to create a YAML pipeline from scratch. So if I'll click on the starter pipeline, it's giving the trigger as a master, which is on the master branch, which is okay because we are okay using the master branch. But it's showing the pool as the VM image Ubuntu latest, which means it's selecting the Microsoft hosted agent. However, we want our pool as node pool. And here in this, it's just running the echo command. Let's remove this. And now we want to pull the code from the GitHub and then deploy into Azure App Service. But this is not as straightforward as it looks, because whenever we pull the code, everything is downloaded to the default directory of your agent node. But for deploying into the app services, all those artifacts should be zipped, and the zip file has to be uploaded into the app services for deployment. So in short, we have to zip all the files and then upload into the app service for it to deploy. Now, automatically, whenever you create a pipeline and attach to the GitHub, automatically all the GitHub files for that repository will be downloaded into an agent node. So our first task here is to go to that folder and zip all the files. So let's go to assistant and let's archive files. What it is doing here is It's picking up the file from the build directory and then zipping them. However, in our case, we don't want to do this because our files are plain HTML files. There is no build required for them. So we just have to zip them and upload. And instead of the build directory, we'll use the system default directory. System default working directory. We'll zip them. We want to uncheck this option because we don't want to create a root folder into our files during the zip. Again, same for the system default directory. We'll just create a build zip, and I'll show the same thing into our agent. So let's add, and let's first run this step. Save and run. Now a job is created which is running. Let's click on the job. It's going to the node pool. That's very good. In the steps, all the files are getting downloaded from the GitHub repo to the agent node. Now there is an issue with the archive files. Unable to locate executable file zip. So because the archive files zip the files, however the zip package is not even installed on the agent pool. So let's go here there quickly. Sudo apt-get install zip. This will take a minute or two to install the zip package. Now the zip package is installed. Let's rerun the pipeline. We're running in the master branch. Run again. Now all the files are getting downloaded. And now this time archive files is successful. So let's go to the folder. We are in my agents. If we look here, we'll go to the work directory _work directory. As you can see down, my agent work directory 1s and then 51 zip file is created. So let's go to folder 1. There is s, and these are all the files which are in our git repo, and a new zip file is created for all these files. Now the next step is to deploy this zip file into the Azure App Service. So let's go to the pipeline, edit our pipeline. Let's add another task. Web app. So we have already created a service connection. So let's choose our service connection. App type is web app on Windows because this is what I have created in the previous video. And app name is Shailendra Web App. We have to be very careful where the zip file is created. So the system default directory right now is still S. If I'll do present working directory, so this is the default working directory and our zip file is created in that folder itself. So let's remove this and add. Save. I'll run the pipeline now. The job has just started. It's downloading the file, then it'll archive the file again, and then it's deploying to Azure App Service. and it has successfully deployed the web package to app service. So let's go to our web app, refresh, and click on it. That's great. Now the web pages are getting deployed through the Azure YAML pipeline. One last thing which we have to check is this getting continuously deployed? Because in our YAML pipeline, I have provided that trigger is master. So that means whenever there is a change in the master branch, it should trigger automatically. Let's see if this works or not. Right now, all the pipelines are fine. So let's go to index.html and make some changes. Right now the website is showing us this website is coming soon. Let's change this text. So let's change it to this website is under construction. Commit changes. And let's see if the pipeline trigger by itself or not. Let's refresh this page and you can see there is update in the index.html. If we'll go to the job, it has just triggered downloading the files, new files, it'll archive the files and then it will deploy to the web app or the app service. So it has successfully deployed. So let's go to our web app, refresh, open the web page. This website is under construction. Perfect. So now there is a continuous deployment happening from GitHub to your Azure App Service using the Azure DevOps YAML pipeline. And that YAML pipeline is using the self-hosted agent which we have created in a node pool. So this is all for this video. I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.